So that
Hello and welcome to the Christian Life Coach podcast. I am Coach Shanna, your Christian Life Coach. And today I am so excited to have as a special guest, the wonderful Jaclyn Waltman, who edited my first ever book that I ever wrote and is, as of today, available for Kindle pre-order. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. But here it is. So excited. I have author copies. And I just wanted Jaclyn to come on because I think that she's just an amazing person. She has an amazing story. And I knew her in real life before we ever started talking on Zoom. Jaclyn's husband is my son and daughter-in-law's pastor in Western Washington. And she teaches at a Christian school. And so I've known her for a few years and we have chatted and said hello and hung out and adored my grandbaby together.
yeah.
And this past spring, in April, I believe, we were chatting after church one Sunday, and she was talking about wanting to start an entrepreneurial venture, and she wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do. And so we chatted about that a little bit. And of course, I offered my opinion on the direction that she was going. And then we scheduled a time to meet at one point. I think that was a little bit later, maybe in May. And the direction that she was going was completely different from what we talked about previously, and was a little bit on the edgy side, but I'll let her share that if she wants to. And then I don't know when she started posting, the first post that I saw of hers, she went in another completely different direction, and she is doing editing for Christian creators, Christian creatives. And I, at the time, was finishing up a master coach certification through the Life Mentoring School. And part of that certification was a project. My project was a book. And so I think I had already finished it, actually. I had my 31-day devotional in a PDF form in my Google Drive, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. And it was just kind of sitting there. And as I saw Jaclyn's post on Instagram, I just, like, every so often I'd get a little nudge. And one Friday, I reached out to her and said, I need your help. And I sent her the PDF of my book. And I believe my text message said, I'm feeling panicky because I really hadn't talked about writing a book to very many people. Pretty much the people in my program was all. Some of my closest friends, when they found out, they're like, what? You wrote a book? Why have we not heard about this? So I really haven't talked to anybody about it. I hadn't let anybody read any of it. So I was like, really, I didn't realize it either, like how panicky and fearful I was to have somebody else read what I had written. So I sent it to her, and a few days later got the most incredible text message. I cried, showed my husband, and I cried. And he said at that point, he's like, you need to ask her to write like that foreword or something in the beginning of your book. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So anyway, all that to say, Jaclyn edited my book, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So tell us all about you.
Okay. I guess I'll start kind of what you were wanting to hear. Okay, so I've been teaching, I'm going into my 13th year, and I'm 35 now. I'm getting older. It wears on you eventually. Like, I wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm home by 5. I've got 2 little kids. I've got Emma, who's going into 5th, and Max, who's going into 2nd. And at some point, you kind of zoom out and you look at life and you go, do I want to be gone 6 to 5? Do I need to do that? And the other part of my story too is that I've been in physical pain for like 3 years, and we've been figuring it out and learning about it. And one of the huge things that affects me is the weather here in Washington State. And I'm like, okay, so I need to be able, at least once during the winter, even for like a week, I need to be able to just kind of leave and go get warm. And I do get time off during teaching, but my time off is Christmas and Easter. And those times are my husband's biggest work times because he's a pastor. It's Christmas and Easter. And so we're always like, oh, you can't go anywhere. And I just kind of endure the cold winters. And I just started thinking. I just started thinking around last year, and I'm like, you know, what are the options? I'm looking towards my future going, do I want to teach forever? I don't know. I don't know what God has, but I do kind of want to start exploring. And so then you start thinking about, well, what are you good at? Well, one of my favorite things is I feel so entirely blessed in our marriage. Me and Steven's my husband. We just I just praise God so much all the time for our marriage. I don't even know how it came to be what it is other than the Lord. I I don't even have words. Like we have learned to communicate. We have learned to be, I love being around him. We love doing everything together. We are just two peas in a pod, and yet also so different. And um one of the things that we love most is just enjoying that intimacy together. And I was like, you know what, I know people struggle in this area. Maybe I could be a help. Maybe I could be a light. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do the whole podcast thing, and maybe I'll be a life coach. And so I poured myself into that for months, like learning about life coaches and what is it, and just totally dove into it. I even have still on my counter this Podcasting for Dummies book that somebody got me. Like I have all the stuff, and I was ready to go. And
I need to borrow that.
oh yeah, I've got, you know what, I don't need it anymore, so you can have it. And I just kept praying about it and was thinking, my whole, not my whole life, but my whole like adult life, the past 15, 20 years, I have been on the front lines. I am a pastor's wife. I am in leadership. I lead worship. In all the schools I've been in, I always end up being head of my department. I always end up leading a ton of stuff. I don't know. I just end up on the front all the time. And I thought, you know what? I don't know if I want to be on the front anymore. I would love to work behind the scenes. I would love to rest and maybe find this place of, wow, it's just me and the Lord. I don't have to worry so much about leading masses of people. I've done this for a long time, and the Lord, I just kept bringing it to him in prayer. And I'm like, am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to go just be just me and you, God, and not be in charge of hundreds? And he always responded with this quiet, like, yes, daughter, you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to have rest. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to have all that. And I would just cry and kind of not believe it. And then all these other things were popping into my head. Like back in January, I was doing a writing assignment with my students, and I'm giddy. I'm like, I love this writing. This is so much fun. And the kids are looking at me like, our teacher is crazy. Like, who likes this stuff? And I'm loving it and showing them. And I was like, I miss writing. I'm not writing anymore. I mean, I'm writing for my job. I'm a middle school English teacher. I write all the time. I grade 60 essays every other week. Like I'm in writing, but I'm not doing it for my own fun and enjoyment anymore. And so that thought hit me back in January, and it reappeared again as I was praying and seeking the Lord and my direction and all this stuff. And it was like, you know what? I think I want to write. I think I want to sit on my couch and I want to edit and I want to just kind of do something where I'm not on the front screen doing the podcast like you're doing and doing the life coaching calls and all the stuff. And I'm like, could I just sit behind the curtain and write for other people? And you know what? I have walked in the shoes of my audience. I have been leading a church with my husband for over 10 plus years. I have had my hands in the whole writing process and how to deliver a good message for 13 plus years. I dove into what the life coaching world looks like for several months. And I'm like, I think it would be so cool if I could just support people now. And I could love on them and I could encourage them and I could raise them up in their own calling and just be this cheerleader behind the sidelines. Like, find the people who I really align with, find the people who have a heart for the Lord, who want to see other people thrive, and get behind them and be like, I got you. Like, I want to write for you. I want to edit for you. I'm going to encourage you. Like, it's your turn. I'm just going to be back here. And there was such freedom in this idea. And so I am going back to full-time teaching. I actually start teacher training on Monday, and I'm doing a whole year. And, you know, I'm just open-handedly seeing what the Lord does. My mom gave me this verse from Proverbs 16:9, and it talks about how humans make plans in their own hearts, but it's God who directs our steps. And so right now I'm in a season where I am laying everything before the Lord, going, have your way. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do what I love to do and be who I am. And I'm going to give it to you, God. And I'm just praying for him to make a way. I do think ultimately I would love to be home. I would love to not do this, get up so super early and grind and go to work all day. And I think I would love to just pour out my passion of writing and my skill. I am such a nerd. I love proofreading. My gosh, I'm even like, what's wrong with me? Why am I getting really excited to restructure a sentence? Like, this is really weird. But I just love it. And I think I'm really hoping this new journey works out and plays out. But that's kind of where that huge shift. Yeah, Shanna, I wrote her. Well, we met, we talked about me doing this life coaching thing for Christian women in their marriages. And then I popped up on Instagram with this whole writing, proofreading thing. And she's like, whoa, you took a different turn. I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of the story behind it.
Okay, here's a funny thing that just popped up for me as you were talking. You, on your social media recently, you've been writing a lot about active and passive voice.
Yep.
And I cannot, for the life of me, remember what I was writing. It was just like, it was literally just this morning or yesterday. And oh my goodness, I wish I could remember what it was. But I literally, I typed something out and then I looked at it and I deleted it and rewrote it. And I'm like, that's active voice.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
I literally have never, ever in my whole entire life thought of active and passive voice. And I love words. Like, I am a word nerd. I love the thesaurus and the dictionary. I love finding just the right word. And one of my favorite things to do every year is my word of the year workshop in December to help people pick their word for the year, because I just love words. So there you have already,
so
besides
cool.
the book, making me think
It's so fun. I remember this time when I was little, I was maybe 10, and I was cooking in the kitchen with my grandma. And she was one of those like master chefs, right? She could do anything. And she's trying to teach me her ways. Like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to make this roux. It was like a biscuits and gravy sauce. And she's like, come over here. Okay, you're gonna add this in. And she just like pours in. She doesn't measure, she just like pours it in. And then we're gonna add this in. And I'm standing back like, I'm not gonna remember that. Like, I'm not gonna remember any of this. This is crazy. And cooked with her again and again and again. And I learned to follow a consistency. Like, I learned to feel the sauce. I learned to feel if it was too thin, what it needed more of. I learned how it all worked together. And I was thinking as I was editing your devotional, I was like, you know what's weird is I don't have a checklist next to me. I don't have a recipe that I'm like following particularly. I realized my writing has become like my grandma's cooking, where I read it and I know what to change. I feel it. I'm like, oh, this is totally her voice. I love this part. We're going to keep this. And I read this and I'm like, this is in her voice, but it needs to do this. And I just like tweak it. And I'm like, it just reminded me of my grandma and cooking and how some things just come naturally for us. And I think I've been editing for so long, like 13 years, because of being a teacher. It's now second nature. And it's so fun now. And you'll eventually start going, ooh, this is active voice. Ooh, this is bad. Like, you'll find them and you'll just know. And your craft will get better and it'll be easier. And it's just fun.
That is fun. And I love that because you're operating in a natural gifting, which you have also developed.
Yeah, right. It's both.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's not just, oh, God gave me this gift and I'm perfect at it. It's God gave me this desire to do this thing. And I have practiced it. I've put in the repetition. I've spent the time stirring the sauce to determine the consistency. I love that. I also love how you said that, I don't know if it was in January or what, that you started kind of, you stepped back to look at the big picture, which I think we do not do often enough. And I think that not doing that is the cause. I think it's one of the things that leads to women, which I was in this place for quite a few years, just living on autopilot. You're just in it, doing the thing over and over again, doing what has to be done without even considering options or possibilities, or do I even enjoy this, or like not questioning anything. So when you took that step back and started asking yourself questions, do I want to do this, until I retire or I'm retirement age? And just asking the question opens up the possibility that I don't have to do this. There are other options.
I know. And I had never really thought of that before. You just kind of go with what you know until you stop.
This is what I've decided to do. This is what I do. It's what I've been doing. It's what I'm going to keep doing.
Yeah.
But then you ask yourself the question and your brain starts going, well, you could do this. You could do this. What about this? What about this? And it just it cracks open your brain to all of the possibilities that are out there. I love that.
And that zooming in thing is so relevant because like even yesterday, okay, so we had like a couple little issues with a tiny thing, this barcode on KDP, right? So she and I are going back and forth with this little tiny, I don't know what you call it, like this annoying thing. It was just like poking at us that we needed to fix. And I was driving into town and that tiny little thing, because I'm a perfectionist, is just chipping at my mind. Getting at me. And I'm driving and the sky was gorgeous here in Washington yesterday. It was pink and purple and clouds were everywhere. And I'm driving and I just stared at it and it got me out of my thoughts. And I started talking with the Lord. And it was like, do you realize how small this is? Zoom out and take a look at what I'm doing. Take a look at what the book's going to do. Take a look at who Shanna is. Take a look at what's going on. Take a look at how I'm working. Take a look at how much I love you. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. But like I zoom in on these little things and it takes my focus and I get weighed down. My thoughts are reeling and it happens all the time, right? This is like a daily, it just, I don't know if that happens for other people. I don't think I'm the only one, but the thoughts enter in and it really is so beautiful how simple it is to just meet with the Lord and he zooms me out. I'm like, oh, you've got it all. Okay, I don't have to worry. And I think it's hard to live that way, but when we make it a practice, I've gotten better at doing that. I'm 35. I pray that when I'm 70, I don't know. I hope I'm better at even remembering to just go to him. It's so simple. And I'm like a stupid sheep that wanders away. But
Yes. And it's so fascinating because I like to take it to the literal, and especially in my coaching, I have clients and they're like, "Oh, you're going to get literal." Yes, I am, because words matter. Words have power. The way that we talk, if even in our own mind, it matters. And like
oh, it does.
when
Huge.
we focus, when we're focused on, okay, these are my author copies and we have an issue with the barcode. And so we had to, it's a whole thing. The KDP Amazon thing is a whole learning curve, which is so fun and can be a little bit frustrating. But focusing in on this issue with the barcode, when you focus in on something, even if it's something small, it makes that thing appear bigger than it is.
Totally.
And we do that with so many things, like whether it's a barcode
Yeah.
on a book or the way somebody looked at you in the grocery store. I mean, it could be anything. The tone of voice that your husband used when he said a sentence, and we zoom in on it and make it out to be some huge thing. And really, it's just this little tiny thing
I know.
that had nothing behind it.
I know.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional. Like you are, our tendency, our like automatic is to focus on the negative thing. There's a problem here. I need to fix this problem. And we magnify the problem. And it takes intention
Yeah.
and being purposeful to zoom out and look at that big picture.
Yep. Yeah. And words, like I'm going over in my head of, wow, what words am I speaking to myself? What words are going through my head? You know what? Those words are not serving me. How about some truth? And then you just start thinking about, wow, God's plan is so much bigger than me. God's plan is so much bigger than these moments. I have so much to be joyful about. I have so much to be grateful for. And then I start thinking on all these things instead. And I start telling myself and reminding myself of these words that are true rather than the ones that sneak in and think they own me. And they shouldn't, because they just all
You're
consume.
coaching yourself. You're a Christian life coach.
I'm coaching myself.
I love
Yeah.
it. What else? Anything else you want to share?
Let's see. I don't know. I think I'm just excited. Like when you say words matter, the coolest thing that I've experienced on my journey is, like I was telling you, and it's even in the forward, like just a few days after I was editing your book, I was like, "Ah, this is changing me. This is reminding me of everything I need," right? Like there's so many self-help books out there and they're all focused on like, do this, try this, sure, give yourself some grace, but keep doing this and keep doing this and just like do all these things and better yourself. And I was like, okay, I know Shanna, but I don't know Shanna at like the deepest level yet. Like I'm best friends with her kids and we are their pastors, but like I only know you like somewhat. I'm like, what is she about? And so I crack open this book, and the first pages from your author note are the gospel. Spot on, straight on, knowing who you are in Christ. And I'm like, oh, this is not a self-help book. I am going to meet Jesus. And of course, like, I'm editing the book, but I'm going through all my own struggles. I'm still a person while I'm editing, and I'm going through my own stuff, and I'm reading these words, and I'm being met with Jesus while I read them. I wasn't being met with do more or you're failing. I was being met with, do you know how much you're loved? Do you know how much I care for you? Do you know what I've done for you? And I'm just reading these words, and I'm like, what kind of book is this? I thought I was supposed to be like eating better and like doing all these things. And the book does get into that, but not in the way I thought. The book gets into it in a way that allows me to live out of who God already says I am. And like I was telling you this story the other day, how I cut out sugar, and that's been really hard, like really, really hard. And I do fail sometimes, but there was this time where somebody brought cookies over, and the cookies were just flaunting around, and I had been reading your book, and I really, really wanted a cookie. They looked so soft, and they were warm and good, and it wasn't a battle for me. It was, you know what? I am loved, and I want to steward my body well. God has given me this body and given me this mind and given me this beautiful, amazing thing. And I just want to live out of that rightly. And I did not struggle with the cookie. It was crazy. Like, but it came from a beautiful place. And so, all to say, there have been so many things with different life coaches, 3 in particular, where right, my job that I'm doing is to write for life coaches, is to edit for life coaches. So it's not necessarily my message. When I meet with a life coach, I am listening, I am learning, I am hearing their message, I am hearing their voice, and then I'm preserving it, I'm capturing it, I am making their message like shine, right? I'm not changing what you want, I'm not changing what your message is. And what's been so cool is, because I'm in a state of listening and I'm in a state of learning from other people, I have gained so much. Life coaches have so much wisdom, and I feel like I'm just constantly being ministered to as I'm writing for life coaches. And it's been a really amazing thing, because I didn't expect for this part of the job to help me flourish in my own walk with God. But I'm reading the like a life coach will get on a call, and she'll be like, hey, I want to do this email launch. I don't know if it needs to be done in 5 emails or 7 emails, but here's my vision. And she talks for like a half hour, and I'm like writing down notes or recording the transcript. And I sit back and listen, and I'm like, gosh, this is good stuff. This is so beautiful. This is transformational. This is Jesus. This is peace. This is joy. And now I get to go write it. And I'm like, this writing behind the scenes thing has been such a joy, because I get to support and love on Christians, on people who are on the front lines, which I've been on. And I know what it's like to lead, and I know what it's like to need encouragement. I know what it's like to feel alone or doubting or in fear. Like you were saying, I'm panicky with this book. I'm like, I'm going to hold your book with love and with grace and with encouragement. And I will edit the heck out of that thing so that it's absolutely beautiful. But I'm going to like hold you high, because you need it. And because you are worth it and you are valuable. And so I guess that's just been another amazing thing that I didn't expect going into this type of a business, working for life coaches. They're amazing.
Yes, 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 all of that. One of the ways that I describe Christian life coaching, and how it's helped me the most is, like, a lot of people will be like, I have a relationship with Jesus. I just need to pray more. I just need to read my Bible more. I just need to more.
Yep.
And life coaching for me is learning how to live out scripture. Like when the rubber meets the road, what does it mean to think on what is true and lovely and pure and noble? What does it mean to keep my mind steadfast because I trust in him so that he'll give me perfect peace? Like what does that even look like on a Tuesday when my husband's annoying the crap out of me? Like what?
Yep.
You know, or when I need to have a hard conversation, or when, money's tight or whatever. And life coaching has helped me. And through life coaching, I help other women to live that out and apply the Bible directly to their life.
Yeah.
On any given Tuesday.
No, it's like there's the scripture that's coming to mind as you're saying this is being transformed by your mind, the renewing of your mind. So it's not transforming your behavior. It's not transforming these little actions. It's changing the way that you think. It's changing the words in your head. It's changing your heart. And that all happens through everything that you're saying is living out these scriptures. And then the stuff comes like this, the silly, simple stuff. Like I'm drinking water now before I pour my cup of coffee. Like how does that, I'm reading the Bible and then it trickles down to me taking care of myself. What? That's really cool.
It's stewarding what God has given us. I love that so much. You have been, oh my word. Okay. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of red on that Word document that got sent back to me. Because apparently I have a lot of passive voice because I didn't know that. And oh my word, this book turned, and I honestly didn't know if I was going to publish it. I just didn't know. And I didn't realize that it was really fear that was keeping me from doing anything with it. And I mean, because I know you personally and I trust you, but I never would have imagined being so encouraged by somebody editing my book. And
it's scary to have somebody do that. It is
very okay. Oh, I just had it. So I identify as an Enneagram 8, and I'm very protective and challenging and don't like to be told what to do. Literally in church, if they say raise your hands, I'm not raising my hand. When they tell me to greet the person next to me, I sit right down. Like it's bad. It's bad. The Enneagram 8 just really describes me, and not that I use that as an excuse, but it definitely,
it's your tendency.
And I like vulnerability is not a thing. I'll share anything. Like I'll tell you anything about myself, but when it comes to revealing emotions and like,
yep,
it really was like a baby.
What's funny? Okay, so I used to be an elementary teacher, and then God was nudging on me to be a middle school teacher, and I'm like, I can't do middle school. That's a whole nother wild animal. I can't do that. And he kept pulling me, and now I'm a middle school teacher. And what's funny is all the things that you're describing is the same little stuff that even middle schoolers experience. And I'm like, how funny, I still experience all those insecurities and all those things still today. But I think one of the big reasons why God called me into middle school, I just have a really big tender heart, and I do have the gift of encouragement. And when these kids turn in their essays and they're not feeling strong about it, maybe that is not their thing, they're more of a baseball player, it's anytime I take their essays to grade them, it's not a mean slashing. They will tell you, just like you said, there's red all over my page, but they don't feel the red all over their page, because the point is not the red all over the page. The point is to lift them up, right? So it's part of who I am. anytime they turn something in, I find what they're good at and I focus on it and I let them know, you are so good at coming up with a story. You are so good at using specific words. You are so good at cranking this out in a half hour. How did you do that? Like just whatever it is, I love just building people up. We get torn down all the time and too much, and our own thoughts tear us down all the time too much. And honestly, your book was really easy to compliment because you have content, which is the biggest thing. Like you have to have something valuable to say that actually helps people, and you do. And then your voice is the other biggest thing. And the hardest thing to teach people is like, you sound like in your book what you sound like on your podcast. It's like I read your book and I'm like, that's Shanna. I'm with her. She's real. She's a person. And you have those things. And so my red marks all over everywhere are just like, I'm just doing little tiny tweaks, but editing is scary, and middle schoolers especially are so scared and they're insecure and they don't know who they are. And I have had years and years and years of practice cradling hearts and lifting them up and encouraging them and making sure they're okay, because everybody has so much value and so much worth. And so I say this to anybody out there who, if you are so nervous to hand off your book, and if you are nervous to get it edited, if you're nervous for people to see it, I am a safe place. I'm somebody who's going to be like, I'm not scary. I just am a big hug, and I'm going to find where, like, what you are good at, and you're going to know it, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel okay. Yeah.
Yes,
I guess that I love about, that's the middle school alignment right there. Every day I'm working with insecurities and giving encouragement.
and you are so great at it. And I love that you read to hear the author's voice, and the goal is to make it flow and to have active sentences, and also to make it even more, to make it sound even more like the person, so that it is kind of like you're just having a conversation with the person. I love that. I mean, as you know, I've been shouting you out on the socials. I am, any of my coach friends that are working on content or books or anything, I'm like, I have somebody for you. I put a post in the community that I'm in. Anybody needs an editor, reach out. I have an amazing one. So if you are any kind of, is it just Christian coaches, or is it any kind of Christian creative?
Christian creative. Yep.
Yeah.
Ministries, podcasters, book writers, anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And she can help with all the technical stuff and the editing and make you sound even more like yourself. Reach out. You can check the show notes, and I will have her linked up everywhere, her Instagram and website and all of the things. And also I will have the link to, you can pre-order the Kindle version right now, but I'll have the link to Amazon so you can go and get the book. And also I will have linked up my new program that's starting in September called Shift. And I have shifted my Reset Weight Loss group and am focusing, it's containing all of the weight loss elements and also the identity shift that is even more important. And I talk about that on last week's podcast if you want to go listen in. Any last thoughts, Jaclyn Waltman?
I don't know. I just want to encourage people to rest in their identity. I think everybody has something that they're maybe discouraged about or afraid of or stressed about, or whatever the things are. And if you need reminders of who God says you are, because you don't have to live in that and you don't have to stay there, find Shanna, find her book, go pick up the Bible. Like, talk to Jesus. Seriously, just talk to Jesus. I tell my son that every day. He's like, Mom, I got bad thoughts in my head. I'm like, honey, let me show you how to talk to Jesus. I'm serious. That is all that you need. Like, let's do that. And yeah, I just want to encourage people to find rest and to find joy in the simplest thing, in not doing more, but just finding him.
That. And I also want to say, on a personal note, I have seen you with your kids and with your nephew in kind of charged kid situations, and the way that you handle and relate with your kids is so beautiful. You are so gentle and tender, and I literally, I have watched several times, several interactions, and I'm just like, she is such a beautiful mom. Like, you are momming beautifully. And I'm sure there's moments, like, obviously, but
There are moments. There are moments that I'm like, Jesus, I do not know how to handle this emotion right now. And then, yeah, he does help me. Yeah, it's not me, it's him, seriously. Thank you. That encourages me so much. Momming is very hard.
yes, it is. That is true.
Thank you.
And God works all things together for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. All things, all of our mistakes, anything we did well, he's using it all for our good and for our kids' good. So there's no condemnation. It's all being used. It's all being used and redeemed. That's what I choose to believe.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Jaclyn, for being here. Thank you for listening or watching. Please go to the show notes if you're listening to the podcast, or the video description if you're on YouTube, and I will have links to everything. Go follow Jaclyn, whether you're a coach or a creative or not. And I will also say, we are all creative. We are made in God's image. God is the creator. Therefore, we are all creative. We might not be artistic, but we are creative. So what are you creating today? Thank you so much for being here. And remember that life coaching is life-changing, one renewed thought at a time. Have a great day.